Yeah, I want to go over something. I was looking into this art. I know I put it on here before about Cyprus, that some people were losing 6.75% of their savings to a one-time tax because they're getting a bailout, European bailout from the European Central Bank or something. And people over a certain amount in their savings account or bank account in Cyprus are losing 9.9% immediately. Now, the way they did this, this kind of tells you what could happen. And I think this is a big deal because I don't think this is just isolated. I'll tell you something else. These articles aren't going into this. Cyprus is a tax haven. A tax haven. A lot of, like the average, I know these articles are going into other things, and I'll state one thing right here in the beginning. The other people wanted to take 40% of the bank, the people's deposits in the banks in Cyprus. 40%. They thought when they got 9.9% taken, one-time deal, a supposed one-time deal, that's a good deal. They wanted 40%. Now, you know what money's in there? See, they don't go into this, but I know this because Cyprus is known as a tax haven in Europe. They got a very low tax, right? So a lot of times there's a lot of money in Cyprus other than people from Cyprus, like Russians, Russian mafia, and all that type of stuff. It's just like the British Virgin Islands is to the United States or to the UK. It's a tax haven. It's a tax haven in Europe. But also it's a tax haven to some big bucks people in Russia too. So I'm wondering if they got 9.9% of their money taken away from them. Or maybe they didn't, and maybe other people did. You never really know what the hell goes on behind the scenes, do you? Right? But they wanted 40%. They didn't want 9.9%. They wanted 40%. Now, if that didn't happen, Cyprus would have exited the European Union, and all hell would have broke loose or something like that. I don't know, would have been a debt default. I don't know what would have happened, but they would have exited the European Union. Now, I see this is going to be like dominoes, because now that people saw this happen in Cyprus, what do you think people are going to do? It's already going on. Let me put it this way. It's been going on for almost a year. People in Greece, Spain, and Italy have been moving their money out of bank accounts and moving them up into like Belgium, Finland, and Germany, getting them out of the area. Now that this happened, because what happened was when people tried to get their money out, they said, "Oh, there's a computer problem." Oh no, they couldn't access any of their accounts until the 9.9% was taken out, and in smaller, lesser amounts in accounts, it was 6.75%. Like, they couldn't access crap. So what do you think that's going to do? I'm going to tell you what I think it's going to do. I know I'm kind of bullish on gold and silver, but that's going to help the metals figure it out. Either you're going to take out toilet paper cash. Well, the one problem is with paper cash, say you can just hide in it. The thing is, it can burn. Metals can't burn, right? They really hold up well. That's why gold has been around. It's like gold can sink in the water someplace. 10,000 years from now, you can dig it up. It's still gold, right? That's why they use it as money. So, that's another thing. A lot of people figure this out too, because like paper, oh shit, supposed to moth eats it or something. I don't know. Something can happen to it. So, I think a lot of people are going to be taking the money out of banks and not taking all of it out, but some of it. But some of it makes a big difference. All the people don't have to take out all the money. Some of the people have to take out a little sizable amount to make a big difference and make a banking crisis. That could screw them up. This could actually snowball a little bit at a time. Because now people are going to be like, what happens now if I have a bank in Greece? What am I going to do? Now, what about Spain and Italy? Actually, I think Spain's in worse shape than Italy, but still, both in bad shape. So what would you do? And if Europe goes down, I'm not trying to push conspiracy 101 here, but It's quite obvious. Like the Department of Homeland Security's got all these billions of rounds for a reason, right? And they got their armored tanks. They roll around in the street with rubber tires with turrets on the top. They got them for a reason, right? So I think this is going to spread. There's probably like in our country, the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, can't insure everything. I know they got it up to 250,000, but it really can't handle all this bullshit. If people start pulling money out of banks, in other words, this can actually start like a wildfire. The people in Cyprus already got it proved to them, and you know what? Like I said, it ain't just Cyprus. Cyprus was a tax haven. That's why a lot of businesses had, other businesses from other countries in Europe were headquartered in Cyprus. I think it's a 10% tax or something like that. It's a tax haven. And Russians are in there too, big time, big bucks. Some of them anyway. I don't know if they got hit. I mean, if they got like freaking $1 billion in an account and they got 9.9% out of it, holy shit, 99 million? Oh, God. Anyway, I don't know if that happened. I couldn't imagine. But that's what goes on. A lot of the Russians that are dealing with Europe, they got businesses headquartered in Cyprus for a reason. It's a tax haven. And that's why they use their banks. I don't know, maybe they had advanced knowledge, maybe the really big guys, but you got to figure, what's that going to do to everybody in Greece and Spain, in Italy? They're going to be thinking twice. Maybe they won't pull all their money out of the banks, but they might pull 10-20% out. And that makes a major difference. And that could actually make a major crisis all throughout Europe. This could be the beginning. And then if there's a crisis in Europe, guess what? The system is global. Nobody actually knows exactly how everything's tied together. I don't give a shit how many initials they have after their names, how long they've been in business. Nobody knows exactly how everything's tied together. So, they could possibly fix it, but the way they fix it, quite obviously we can see how they fix it. The way they fix it is they take 9.9% out of your account when you ain't looking, and they tell you you can't access it till we get to 9.9%. And these turkeys want it 40%. So that's how they'll fix it. So, anybody telling you about the precious metals being stupid? Maybe not. Because this is what can create a real panic into precious metals. Big time, man. Big time. Figure it out. This is pure common sense, man. I'm not trying to pump any bullion bullshit. I'm not working for Eric Sprott. I'm not working for David Morgan. I'm certainly not in cahoots with Brother John F. or Chris Duane or any of those other people out there. So you figure it out. This is plain common sense. Just think what the average person is going to think out there. Like, hey, Cyprus got jammed. Hey, what does that mean? Take some more money out of the bank. Hide it. You need paper money? What's safer to hold? Paper money, or is it safer to hold gold and silver? Something that doesn't, actually you figure it out. Gold, shit, it's already convertible into everything. Silver, too, it's convertible into everything, too, isn't it? It's not like you got a euro and you got to convert it into something. Hey, gold goes into whatever currency you want. Silver goes into any currency you want. It's already a global currency, ain't it? I think this is going to actually help the metals markets a lot. It ain't going to happen in 24 hours. But this shit ain't going away, so... Hey, I think it's looking good. This is actually a good turning point. And it's a big wake-up call because you might see it goes a little bit more in Europe to another place, a little more problems. You know what happens. It's like an ebb and a flow. Big drama one day, kind of cools down. More drama, cools down, more drama. But it probably hit these shores too eventually too. And people are going to wake up. Money in the bank isn't that safe. And they're going to start waking up. Hey, what currency should I have? Right? And then they're going to wake up and say gold and silver. So I think that's a pretty good bet. It looks good for the long range. This is actually good news the people holding precious metals.